This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
Hello, this is Scott Wells for the magicwordpodcast.com. We're on the road again. It's that time of the year in which we typically go to the TAOM, which is the Texas Association of Magicians Convention, which is held, of course, different cities throughout the state of Texas each year over Labor Day weekend, which for those of you out of the country, that's typically held the first weekend of September. Well, this year it is quite different because it's going to be a joint convention, as you no doubt have heard. And TAOM is actually partnering with the Society of American Magicians to make this a combined convention. Typically, the IBM and SAM have combined in previous years for big conventions, but the TAOM has never worked with anybody as far as partnered with IBM or SAM. And we are also going to be having the North American Championships of Magic, the NACM, which is, of course, a FISM-sponsored contest, and so therefore it is just turned into a mega convention. And with all those acronyms, TAOM, SAM, FISM, NACM convention, we decided to call it Magic Texas. So that's where the name comes from, and it's a convention so large that only Texas could hold it, is the way that's being advertised. And from what I understand, that's probably pretty true, because I understand we have, I say we because I'm a past president of the TAOM, and I think that it is just one of the better conventions of the year. Typically, in the past, the TAOM has been larger than either the IBM or the SAM, and this year I think it's amazing. When we're going to be looking at some figures. From what I'm told already, we have well over 500 registrants, and that was a week ago or so, and they're looking at having more like about 600 or so who will be in attendance, plus day passes they'll be selling. So for those of you who are listening to this and want to come out, they do have day passes for $200 per day, and it is probably not too late. I guess you could save by buying the full package for the $495 and getting to see all the lectures and the shows and everything for the convention as well. As I started to say at the beginning, I'm on my way as usual. I'm not taking the flying carpet. You might kind of hear some road noise in the background, and that's because to Dallas, from where I live now in Georgetown, which is a suburb of Austin, I'm only about 3 hours away or less to get to Arlington, which is halfway between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's closer to DFW Airport. And it is a beautiful driving day. Had to get up this morning at, again, pretty darn early, about 5:30, in order to get on the road, because one of the things I want to do along the way is I'm going to stop in McKinney, Texas, to speak with my friends Fred and Bobby Becker, who are cruise ship magicians, to record an episode for an upcoming episode. And then I'm going to be heading over to the SMU campus. So there's going to be a special event for Nani Darnell and the Wilson family. Mark Wilson and Nani Darnell were married at the Perkins Seminary Chapel there on the SMU campus. Southern Methodist University. And also Greg Wilson's going to be there with his brother Mike, and I don't know who all, but again, that was where they got married, and I understand that Nani hasn't been back since they have been married, so it's going to be a special family deal they're having at the church, and then going across the street, and where the Dallas Magic Clubs is going to be. I say clubs because it is actually, I guess, an umbrella over the IBM and SAM, much like the Houston Association of Magicians. Anyhow, they're going to be having and hosting a luncheon and a reception following that thing that the family's going to be having. So that's kind of what the day's activities are going to be for the afternoon. And as some of you may have heard, Lance Burton had canceled his performance along with Lance Burton and Friends, which was supposed to be this evening. The tickets had been sold, and so everyone has been refunded their tickets, and in their place is going to be a new version of Magic in the Living Room, which is something that Dal Sanders does on a monthly basis there in Dallas, and they have 3 people who have appeared on Penn and Teller Fool Us, who are going to be performing then this evening, and as well as a couple of other local guys who occasionally appear on the Magic in the Living Room show that they do. Anyhow, a lot of activities here today, which are all leading up to the official start, which is tomorrow, which will be officially Friday, the 30th of August, and this will be going through September the 2nd, next Monday. So there'll be a lot of activities and things planned, so stay tuned and listen to what all is going to be happening. If you can't make it over here, if you can, I highly recommend that you try to make it. Again, if you can make it for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which are all going to be full days, you could still probably save. Rather than paying $200 a day, you could still register for the $495 and save some money there. Anyhow, I know it's going to be a fantastic convention, and I'm enjoying the drive. And I thank you for coming along with me again for this little excursion. I didn't find a Dunkin' Donuts along the way, but of course in Texas, one of the things we have, which a lot of other states wish they had, and that is Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is a Buckees, Buc-ee's. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it is a great truck stop area or place where they have multiple gas fill-up stations, and they're renowned for their clean restrooms. And Buc-ee's is throughout the state of Texas and a few other places. Then also, yeah, my GPS is telling me where to go here. I'm on the right track. I'm on the track to the TAOM. I'm on my track to Magic, Texas. Anyhow, so I stopped at Buc-ee's to get. Let's see, I don't want to go there, or do I? I want to go north. I do want.
Right to continue on I-35E north.
Oh yes, thank you very much. I'm going the right way. So I almost made a wrong turn heading towards Fort Worth, and I should be going to Dallas. Right there we go on 35 north. Here we go. So I stopped at Buc-ee's and got an egg and sausage croissant and some hot coffee flavored with a little hazelnut. So let's see how this hot coffee is. Man, that's some good coffee. It's hot coffee too. It is hot and it's good. Buc-ee's, again, renowned for their clean restrooms and great environment. If you ever get a chance to come to Texas and you see a Buc-ee's, you've got to stop. They sell everything. They put Buc-ee's stickers on all kinds of diaper bags to beach towels and T-shirts. Anyhow, I'm on my way to Magic, Texas, and I'm bringing you along with me. Thanks a lot, and I will see you in Arlington, Texas. Scotty out. So now we have arrived, and we are at the Meadows Museum, about to have a reception then for the Wilsons. And I've got Mike Wilson then with me right now. Hello, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, great. Delighted to be here. Thank you.
So glad that you and your mom and the rest of the clan had made it over here. So we're just talking briefly about the Chinese acrobats. So.
Yes. So, I first was performing with mom and dad on TV, and I was always amazed at entertainment and all, but primarily on entertainment production. And I was more fascinated with this control booth of the studio and the lights and the fly rails and all that. So backstage stuff. Yeah. Not so much being on camera and on stage. So, after graduating from the university, UC Berkeley, I went and worked for mom and dad, and their production company. And in 1980, Mark and Nani were invited as the first variety entertainers by the Chinese government to travel and tour in China. Prior to 1980, the only entertainment groups that had gone into China were politically motivated ping pong diplomacy type of programs. Oh, yeah. And this is, not too long after Nixon opened and Kissinger went there. And
right.
So during that performing tour, we had an opportunity to see the entertainers of China, and that included the amazing Chinese acrobats. Move forward now to 1984, and my father is developing had a relationship with all the various amusement parks across the United States, including Six Flags here in Dallas. And he started booking Chinese acrobat shows into those amusement parks, all the Six Flags parks across the United States and many others. that evolved after the Tiananmen mess in China. He stepped away from bringing the Chinese acrobats in, and I took over doing that and developed a company called International Special Attractions. And that ended up being a long career from the middle 80s onward.
Who would have known,
bringing Chinese acrobats. So we had them at performing arts centers all across the United States, twice on Broadway, PBS television special, and all through 2010.
Well, tell me also, I think it's fascinating that when your dad was actually in China, he told me the story before, he and Nani, about how that they had been seen by more, larger audience than anyone in the world through their television show there in China. And it wasn't the Magic Land of Alakazam. They did a special magic show.
Yeah, Alakazam had ended, and Mark was primarily producing shows, magic shows, and also doing trade shows along those lines at that time. But he had always considered China as one of the ancestral homes of magic, and there are a lot of magic tricks and effects which we attribute to coming from China, Chinese linking rings, things with silks and rice bowls, etc. Mm-hmm. And so he always had an interest in, when China was opening up in the early and middle 1970s, there was some interest in saying, how could we do some magician's exchange or some way get to China and see just what's going on over there? And that's what evolved into his performing tours.
And then again, like the television, they said, there are more people in China, obviously, than in America who had seen that on television.
Yeah. So, all of his shows were broadcast on the Chinese national television. He performed in 4 cities, Beijing, Shanghai, Nanjing, and Wuxi.
You and Greg assisting?
And Greg was on stage. He was assisting. I was there.
You're backstage?
I was backstage, and I was the still photographer for the event and all, and also was the liaison with the organizers in China, helping out in that capacity. And so in Wuxi, they did not have a television broadcast capability of the show in Wuxi. They did in all the other cities. So there was a radio play-by-play description of the show as it was being performed. And so as Mark's performing the levitation and other effects, you had the Chinese broadcaster giving almost like a sports play-by-play of what's happening on stage over the radio.
Funny. Well, thanks for that insight. Well, it looks like that we're going to have something to eat here. Mike, thanks very much for that little bit of insight in the background.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, that was Mike Wilson, the Scotty Out. The convention is about to begin. We have already arrived at the hotel and checked in. The registration is open. The dealers have not yet set up. It is Thursday afternoon, and later this evening we'll be seeing a show there in the Lowe's Hotel. It is an amazingly nice hotel. I like it. Somebody I'm going to be talking to right now is somebody whose voice you've heard in the past and are going to be hearing probably a lot of throughout this weekend as we continue to get into it, because he always provides the color. Here's my buddy and yours, Mark D'Souza. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Scotty. How you doing?
Fantastic. Good to see you.
I should say, hey, y'all.
Yeah, you're in the right place to do that now. That's right.
I am.
As we're sitting here outside of world champion Texas Ranger Stadium.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, much to my chagrin.
And just about a block away from your arch enemy over here, the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, talk to Mike Miller about that, okay? I'm not as rabid. I won't tell you what Mike has done to that stadium.
But yeah, being a dyed-in-the-wool Phillies fan, yeah, he's not for...
Eagles fan. What
did I say? Philly?
You said Phillies.
Sorry, Eagles
when
fan.
You say the Texas Rangers, the Texas Rangers took it to the Phillies a few years ago in a very controversial way, I might add. But we're in Texas. We won't talk about that.
So we don't. We're here to talk about magic. And one of the things I do want to talk about, it was kind of interesting because just as we came over here, we ran into Joey Cranford, who, of course, is the owner and operator over at the Chicago Magic Lounge.
Exactly.
And you guys had a momentous meeting right there because you're going to be opening your new place.
Yeah. We've already gone to closing on the building. It's called the House of Magic. It's called that because of Eugene Berger, because there are many rooms in this building. So there's many rooms in the house.
You're going to have pictures of him around the place then, too?
Well, the library will be the Eugene Library.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
Pardon me, we're working on getting the bids from a variety of contractors to do the work in there. Pardon me, I've got my guys doing the work, some of the work, but we have to work with a lot of local contractors there for heating, air conditioning, electric, that kind of stuff. So at this point, the only thing we know that's going to be a little bit of a delay is we're building an elevator outside of the building and creating a brand new entrance from the parking lot in. So we have to build an elevator tower and excavate down to the basement.
And you're going to have a total of 4 floors.
There'll be a total of 4 floors. We're only using 2.
Okay.
We're only using 2, the main floor and the basement. On the back side, there's 2 more levels of office space. One of those is already leased. The other one, once we fix the roof and we're taking care of the couple little water leak issues, we'll be renting that out. Front of the building, there's just one second floor office.
And I had recently talked with Danny, who had said that they're going to be bringing over the Smoke and Mirrors Theater.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a big secret anymore. They're
Danny Archer, by the way, is who I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're going to be closing Smoke and Mirrors in their current location at the end of the year, and they're going to be moving over as soon as we're ready for them. Which we're hoping, because of the elevator is the one thing we know is going to be delayed, but we actually don't need the elevator to run the theater. And what they're primarily concerned with is running the theater. So we're hoping just after the first of the year, we're going to be able to open the theater portion.
So they shouldn't be calling you. People should not call you to get booked. They should still continue to call Danny.
Well, it's interesting because they're leasing space from me, basically. They're my tenants. And we have an agreement where they're going to be booking their shows. And the theater will be, House of Magic presents Smoke and Mirrors Theater. I mean, that's basically what we're saying. But I want to be producing shows there as well, and I'm going to be leasing it out to others who will be using it. We've had some inquiries about doing some comedy shows there, some music shows, some variety shows, and I think it's going to be, it's a good venue. It's a good size, about 100 seats. Nice size for, smaller venues, smaller operators, guys who want to produce something small. I'm sure the small theater groups are going to want to use it because it is a regular, proscenium stage. It's going to be about 26 foot wide by about 13 foot deep. Good wing space, good video support. So
it's got room for illusions also to perform.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not saying we're going to be bringing in David Copperfield, but certainly an act can come in with 2-3 illusions and still be able to work pretty well in there.
Well, it's great that we're going to be having another magic venue for people to go, and it's going to be professional. But because I know that everything you do is always going to be first class, so it's going to be great.
Thank you. My closest friend Larry, his son Aaron, has already been working with me on the project. Aaron is a graduate. He has a theater lighting degree from Emerson College, so he's working closely.
Emerson
with
Nice Lights.
Yeah, Emerson. Very good. And I've got another good buddy who does a touring illusion show, who's been, giving me some advice on some things. So we're gonna have good lighting in there, and we want to have some decent sound in there, and try to arrange it so that we've got enough flexibility that we're going to be able to have people come in and just run a physical board, but also have a computerized system where we can just have 20 different presets of lights.
Intelligent lighting and that kind of thing.
Yeah, there will be. There will be. Probably more intelligent than me.
Well, it sounds exciting, and you haven't got a website or anything, I guess, yet?
Not yet. I had 2 people bidding on doing the website. I'm going to be making that choice when I get back. We already have logos already designed, and
you haven't had T-shirts printed
yet. Not yet. I was actually contemplating having a shirt made just to wear here, but I said, no, I'm not going there. Hats, shirts.
So speaking of here, we are at the first ever combined convention with the TAOM. Now, the SAM has had the combined convention with the IBM.
Correct.
But this is beyond that, but include the FISM then as well.
Correct, and that's the reason for the combined convention, is that this is the FISM NA, which is, in essence, it's FISM North America. It is the qualifying heats for next year's FISM competition in Torino, Italy. And that's the reason for the combined convention. It's, FISM events are always cool, and this is going to be no different. But I got to tell you, above and beyond that, they have pulled out the stops on this one, and Mike Miller is going out with a shebang. This is Mike's last convention that he's producing the talent for, and Mark Waithouse, it's his last convention as convention registrar, convention chairman, I should say. And boy, there's some amazing talent. I'm really looking forward to this week.
Yeah, and a very nice hotel. And we're certainly getting in our steps. It is a big old hotel.
Oh my God. I'm bringing breadcrumbs. I already said to somebody, I don't care how much I eat this week. I'm going home later with all the walking we're going to be doing. Holy cow. But I will say, what a beautiful hotel. I mean, no offense to anybody, this is the nicest convention hotel I've ever been in.
Period. Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. And it's brand new. I mean, it's only been open
since February.
Yeah, a few months.
Yeah.
But the venue is beautiful. The location, I mean, as Scotty said, we're here at Texas Live. You know, we're right across the street from the hotel. And I don't know, what is there, 15 different restaurants, bars, and stuff in here? Fabulous. And we're right across from, Texas Ranger Station.
There's a 7-Eleven right there, convenience store.
There we go. Choctaw Stadium is right over there. Six Flags, a couple of blocks away. It's amazing. I wish I had more time here.
Yeah, and hopefully people who are listening to this will know that you can come. You can still register. They're going to be selling day passes as well, but there's $200 a day. So if you're going to be staying for 3 days or $600, you're better off to just come and register, buy the whole thing. Yeah, $495. Yeah,
absolutely. And there are, there's just, in addition to all the acts and lecturers and speakers, there's just a whole host of stars here that are just.
There's some people just hanging out. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
That's when you know you got a great convention. People are just hanging on the lobby, just to see everybody.
Who you would want their autograph or some time with.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a fun time. Well, I'm looking forward to chatting with you. Then tomorrow evening we'll kind of have maybe a recap of what happened for day one.
Yeah.
This really doesn't count as day one. This is just kind of a pre-show.
We've got one show tonight, Late Night Magic, I think it's called.
Magic in the Living Room.
Pardon me, you're right. Yep. Magic in the Living Room, which is a Texas thing.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to seeing that.
Yep. And we've already had our Magic and Martini happy hour a little bit earlier, and we're here now at, where are we, Lockhart's?
Lockhart's Barbecue.
What do you think of the barbecue, by the way?
I thought it was excellent.
It's Texas, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but even in Texas, there's good barbecue and there's great barbecue. This was really good barbecue.
This was really good. Yeah, Dal Sanders had said you got to try the place, and so we did, and he's right. It's good. Yeah. So people who are listening to this, just walk across the street. It's only another half mile. Everywhere you go, get your steps in. Yeah, everything's a half mile.
This is the only convention I've ever been to where they should be providing scooters.
I saw one guy who is on one of these little electric scooters. Who's one of the staff members, actually. Yeah. That does remind me, kind of like in Las Vegas when you're saying, well, the hotel's just right over there. In the Forlong, it's like there's a half mile.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But anyhow, thanks, Mark, and we look forward to talking to you a little bit later. So the Magic Word Podcast, you bet. That was Mark D'Souza, Scotty out. We just finished a lecture by Gustavo Raley from Argentina, I believe.
Yes.
And he was talking about creativity. It was opposite of another one that was being given on marketing by Kent Cummins, so it's one of these things you have to choose one or the other. And since I have breakfast with Kent every Monday, we talk about these things, so I thought, well, I'll get to hear what Gustavo had to say. And it was very interesting about how that he was, the creative ideas and things that he had, in which you said you combine, well, I'm going to let you say it, Bob. Hey, well, first of all, Bob Festa. Hey, Bob.
Hi. Nice to see you again, Scott. The effects were quite practical, very well thought out, and usable. Mm-hmm. Usable in regular situations. So I really mostly enjoyed the can effect and the balloon effect for what I would do. A lot of the Rubik's Cube, but I'm not one of the people that does that. But
it seems to be a very popular thing in Magic right now. Yeah, with Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, sure is. But I'm an old guy now, so I don't have that dexterity,
Tell me about it, brother. Heather, you're a young lady, so.
Yeah, well, and I don't magish, okay? But I've been around magicians for a very long time. And as we discussed earlier, this lecture sort of brought to mind an article that was written about David Copperfield and his methodology for thinking up new grand illusions. And part of that had to do with locking everybody up for a week and say, okay, if it was really magic, how would we make that happen? And he would have all of his staff and figure that out. The other thing that brought to mind to me was Michael Amar's Magic with Everyday Things. And in Michael's lecture was, I always go to dinner parties early and spread rubber bands around, because if somebody says, hey, show me a trick, and I'm looking and I was like, oh, here's a couple of rubber bands, let me show you how to do something like that. So it's one of those things of how you make the wonder happen with
Organically.
Yeah, organically. That's a great way to put it, because to his point with the can effect is that's an everyday object. It's like, oh, and all of a sudden now I've got two different things. And to appeal to the younger crowd, the Rubik's Cube, and to the younger crowd, the Rubik's Cube and the M&Ms, or the Chocoholics, whatever that works. So I thought that was really, really cute. Would that be something I could use? I don't magish, but I really appreciate the techniques and the thought process of putting different types of things together to stretch your brain.
Like the Fruit Loops idea.
Yeah, the Fruit Loops idea was great.
Explain that.
So the Fruit Loops idea was really sort of cute in the fact that, one of those quick can things of taking Fruit Loops and trying them out, and then very similar to pins on a string or razor blades on a string, that type of thing, you have Fruit Loops on a string. And I really liked that because it was very organic and something everybody could relate to, because that's the other part, is make it everyday items and make it relatable. So it's like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And I could see a kid trying to do Fruit Loops on a string. I really could see a kid trying to do that. That would be fun. But it would spark the imagination.
And Bob, explain the Coke can for people. Obviously, they don't know what we're talking about.
Well, the Coke can, what they do is, you take a regular can of Coke, open it, and you pour Coke out, and then somebody may complain and say, well, there's too much sugar and stuff, so you just pour right out of the same can. Dry sugar pours right out of it and stuff. Or you can change the liquid and have beer come out of the Coke can or whatever it is. And it works wonderfully, and you'd never guess really how that was actually happening. So
how you can build it relatively straightforward. I didn't realize that the Red Bull cans and the Coke cans all had the same size head on them. They may be strong, they may be taller or narrow or whatever, but they all have the same head. So it's like everyday products you could use.
Yeah, my real takeaway was how that you can actually rub the top of the cans on sandpaper and remove that so you can change out cans. I never had fiddled with that
way. That's right.
Yeah, and I went and checked the sandpaper. It's 150 grit. So
150 grit.
Yeah,
okay.
150.
So people who saw the lecture and you're listening to this, thank you, Heather, for
checking that out, because I was like, okay, let me just check that out.
Yeah. But one of the things he was talking about was about how first of all, you would list an items of tricks that you might do on one side of the board, and then on the other side of the board, you would have then another 5 or 6 different ideas of things you could do with. They were effects, I guess?
No, so what it was is basically effects that you were very, very familiar with on one side of the board, like on the left-hand side of the board, and then on the right-hand side of the board were very disparate things, like a tea bag.
Yeah.
And
a coffee cup.
And a coffee cup. Whereas on the effects that you were used to, like the chop cup or the bag, the change bag and that type of thing. So you'd have that on one side of the board, and then you would have other everyday items on the other, and try to see if you can do them or match them with that.
Yeah.
And he'd have 5 of the techniques, or 5 of the techniques that you're used to, and then like 5 other items, and you'd take the number 1 and try to go all down the 5 of the different everyday things to see what you could match up and what you could put together and what would work and what wouldn't work.
Just before we started talking, I was telling you this was like the 3rd time I've heard this kind of an idea, but it's done a little bit differently. At Magic Live a few years ago, there was a fellow who was talking about writing these things on a die, basically, and you have 3 different dies, so you have things that you can, as you roll them, then you have ideas. And then this year at Magic Live, another guy had this spin wheel, right? Remember you were there, Bob?
Wheel, yeah.
Right, and he had like 3 of those things, and you can combine that, and that was also an app you could download, I guess, also, so you can just kind of push the button kind of with this thing. So the point is of I like this, of stretching our minds, because they've said the magicians stop thinking too soon. As soon as you got a trick, you're done, I'm fine with it, and you move on to something else rather than trying to think and rethink and rethink and rethink, But anyhow, it was a good lecture overall.
Yeah, it helps put the wonder of the little kid going, because he was saying he was watching his dad since he was 5, 6, 7 years old. It's like, oh, how would I do that differently? Mm-hmm. So it helps you get back into that mindset of, oh, how would I do that differently?
Right. Bob, good seeing you as all, my friend.
Pleasure, sir.
Glad you came all the way from Hawaii.
Yes, we did.
And thank you, then Heather, for coming from Austin.
Yeah, you're welcome, Scott. Thank you.
So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Bob and Heather. Scotty out. It's important, I think, whenever we talk about these conventions and give reports, that we also talk with the organizers. And, of course, this was a combined convention. We have a lot of people who are organizing, and not only just the people at the top, but also a lot of committees and a lot of people that actually make this whole thing work. And this was a gargantuan task, and it was led in part by my friend right now, Dal Sanders. Hey, Dal.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Question is, how are you doing now? You're not yet ready to rest.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm looking forward to Monday. I'm going to sit down by the pool and get a drink and a coconut or something. And,
it's for the splash party.
Yes.
I brought my swimsuit.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, thanks for the warning. Seriously, this is a huge thing. When I first started thinking about it and first started talking you and everybody else into it, I knew it was going to be a huge undertaking, and it's to see it actually coming together. There's a lot of things we wanted to do, but due to funding or this, that, or the other, timing, we had to leave them in the parking lot. But the things that we're bringing in out of the parking lot have been just amazing. I've gotten a lot of great comments, and we actually, even though we had a show last night and lectures and sessions today, we actually have a full kickoff tonight, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we're heading right now over to the Texas party, and then a welcome party, followed by a chat with David Copperfield.
That's correct, and it's going to be just a huge night.
So one of the things that's happening tonight is Bobby Becker's going to be singing the national anthem, I guess, which is perfect because she and Fred do cruise ships, and she's a wonderful singer.
She's an amazing vocalist, and we thought that they were going to be on a cruise ship during this week, but when we found out she was here, I said, yes!
But so many things, again, have come together. I think it's been due to the success of you putting in good people who are in charge of doing certain things, and we've had good promotion, good publicity about this convention, such that we've had people from all over the world, seems like, listening to the 13 Minutes to Texas podcast that we were doing over the last year. And also, we have close to, like 700 people or so are registering?
Yes, and so we've got a really, really good turnout. Everybody seems to be having fun. They love the hotel. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a good
Despite
walk.
the walk.
It's a walk. We're getting our steps in, but it's a beautiful, beautiful hotel, and the venue's great. The venue has been good for us, so pretty exciting. Now tonight we're going to do a little thing that we enjoyed. You and I talked about it before at FISM when they brought all the artists in a parade, all the competitors.
Right.
And so we're going to be doing that tonight too.
We have so many different countries that are represented here.
Yes. Actually, we have 7 different magic organizations from North America.
Wow.
Represented here. But so they're going to come in, and we're just put a spotlight on these competitors that have worked hard to get here so far. Mm-hmm. And just kind of give them some encouragement to go on to perform their best and hopefully get ready for FISM.
This is going to be a lot different. Even this opening night party. I mean, last night was really kind of a pre-opening. I wouldn't say it was the opening night, although that show again was amazing with the people that we had. Unfortunately, since Lance couldn't be here, but we had then the local guys from you hosting that with the Magic from the Living Room variation of that, and the performers. 3 of them were from Penn and Teller. 4 of them. Great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
It's like 4 out of 5 doctors. It's a 4 out of 5 magicians were.
The amazing thing is about being able to put that together on the fly, basically.
Well, and again, it's all my guys. It's all my guys coming together, and they found out that the show was the Lance Burton show was canceling, and they said, "Hey, Dal, anything we can do, let's put it together." And so they all volunteered. They all worked for free.
Yeah.
And
what an amazing show! I mean, they seemed to complement each other. I thought very well. It wasn't like all the same kind of a thing. It was all different and a lot of fun, high energy.
Yeah. And there was only one really bad thing about the show, and that is they were all young and good looking. I just hate that.
That's right. Had all their teeth and all their hair and and they're thin.
I used to be young, thin, and good looking.
Yeah, but now we give it to the kids. So
Yes.
Pass it on to the next generation. So the convention is going very well. We have some more surprises that are going to be coming. I'm going to talk to you probably when we get ready for the splash party in the last evening and everything. I know there are some surprises that we really can't talk about that are going to be coming yet. We've received some pretty cool swag already. So,
well, tomorrow we've got the red and white party in front of the gala show over at UTA, University of Texas in Arlington. And so we're expecting everybody to wear red and white, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret here, okay? We're also going to have a red and white wine tasting. So
Texas wines.
Well,
Some are, some aren't.
Some aren't.
Oh, yeah, because Dan was involved. Okay, yeah, we got some Italians. So we got FISM coming up. And okay, enough of that. We'll talk about it later.
Yes. So that's just a little preview of what's coming up. And, Cindy and Trixie and Mano have done a great job putting together the parties and the special events. And, we're excited.
You guys put together just a stellar lineup of people, and everywhere I turn, there are friends just left and right here. This is just a great convention for the number of people who have attended and are still coming in. Day pass is still available?
Yes, day passes are available. We actually had people buying day passes for today, which really doesn't start till tonight, but, they got to see some lectures and some things. So
yeah, and by the way, the lectures were really good. Of course, you get a choice of one or the other, and so it is kind of hard because people say, "Did you see such and such?" I said, "No, I went to the other such and such." I said, "Melon, you missed this." I said, "Well, you missed this." They were both just amazing.
Well, we were on purpose. We planned this to where you couldn't possibly see everything.
Yeah.
So you make this convention your own. You choose your own path, and you say, "This is what I'm interested in."
Yeah.
And so.
Well, good job, and I'm looking forward to the party. And I see you got a bite to eat, so I don't want to interrupt anymore. So you can kind of finish because you probably haven't eaten very much today.
This is all I've eaten today. I've eaten half a turkey wrap. So.
And that's been it. So now you're going to be having just a little bit more fast food there.
Yes.
So very good. Now, congratulations on a job well done. I'll be talking to Mark Whitehouse a little bit later, your counterpart, to see what it's looking like from his standpoint, because you're speaking from behalf of the TAOM, and he's speaking from behalf, of course, the SAM.
Well, and I'm wearing several hats here, too.
Yeah, you are.
Because I'm also Dean of the Dallas Magic Club, which is, we're celebrating the Dallas Magic Club's 100th anniversary. I'm the FISM representative. I'm on the FISM board. And so, I'm wearing a FISM hat. I'm wearing a SAM hat. I'm wearing a TAOM hat, and of course a Dallas Magic Club hat.
Yeah.
So I'm got a lot of hats.
Well, you have a big head to hold a big brain in there to hold all those hats. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Dal.
I appreciate you, Scott.
You bet. For the Magic Word Podcast, that was Dal Sanders. Scotty out. Before the convention began, I received an email from someone saying that they were interested in doing an article about Eric Chen and interested in knowing a little bit more about magic, which led to a more deep conversation because she was with the Texas Monthly magazine, and as we talked, said, well, I'm interested in coming to the TAOM convention, and she's here with me right now. Here she is, Katie Vine. Hi, Katie.
Hi, good to be with you.
So glad that you made it so far. Now, you're not a magician or really haven't been involved in magic or even... Have you ever seen a magic show before this convention? Not a live show?
No.
Now, you're familiar, of course, with Penn and Teller Fools because you asked me about that last evening.
Yes.
So what do you think of the TV show? Like how magic is portrayed today to the public?
I don't know what else to compare it to.
Good point.
But I'm sure everyone here says it's different live, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing, more live shows as we go through.
You're really being thrown in the deep end here. From the standpoint that you're not just going to be seeing some shows.
It's the fire hose. It's trying to get all in as so much information and so many knowledgeable people all in one place. It's such a gift as a reporter. Otherwise, you have to hunt people down, and they're busy. This, that, and the other. Now, at this weekend, somebody just points across the room, and you're like, oh, there they are.
You talk to that person. You talk to that person.
Exactly. It's such a gift as a reporter. It's amazing.
And the fact that you get to also, we went. You were with me yesterday when we went to Nani Darnell's special deal they had with the Wilson family. Yeah. Was that kind of cool for you?
That was so cool. Very cool. And all the old pictures of her, levitating and things.
Yeah. In front of the Magic Castle.
Fantastic. And she still has that stage presence, too.
She does, doesn't she?
She really does, yeah. And I've noticed, I can see a lot of the body language in her sons as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the convention has a lot of dealers, so you haven't had a chance, I guess, to walk through the dealer's room yet?
Only I did a quick buzz through, but I haven't spent a lot of time, no.
Yeah. Well,
I was waiting to kind of
come
go
with
through
me.
You so you could explain what exactly I'm looking at. Otherwise, it's just boxes.
To a degree, I could explain something.
Yeah.
But I'll take you to a certain place, say, you need to have this guy demo this, and he can show you something. They won't teach you the tricks as you're not a magician, but they'd like to have someone who has unabashed awe.
I can do the wow. I can do. I mean, that's half my job is just saying wow.
Yeah. You're a great volunteer from that standpoint.
Yeah.
And so this evening we're going to be having then we just talked to Dal Sanders talking about the Texas party we're having and some other things that are happening, and it's just such a buzz of activity and so many things that are happening around here. And you have are here originally to write an article about Eric Chen. Is that right? So tell me, I saw you talking to Eric today.
Yeah, I talked to him for a long time. He was very generous with his time, especially for somebody who I know has got to have terrible jet lag right now. I'm sure it's like, I don't know what time, 4 a.m. for him, but he was really wonderful. And just his insight into this art, it's been amazing to really sit down and talk with him and kind of unpack how he got to where he is. Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to his act on Sunday and seeing everyone's reaction to it too.
So obviously you've been emailing him back and forth and saying, hey, I'm interested about your history, and so the crux of an article was kind of starting about him, but then is it expanding, or what's the article tell me about?
Yeah, it's both. It's like he's from Houston, grew up in Houston, and so he counts as Texan for us. We can check that box for Texas Monthly. And even though he lives in China now, he can talk about kind of. I'm not going to explain it very well. He can talk about kind of like just his journey, but then I can sort of fill in the context for where we are right now with all of this.
Right.
So it's.
To learn more about his.
Yes, and you've been so great with taking me around and letting me kind of glue myself to your shoulder and introducing me to everybody and just kind of getting more of the subculture elements of it.
Right.
Because, as he has said, he doesn't go to a ton of conventions, and so he doesn't know a lot of sort of what's normal, what's not normal, all of that kind of thing. So that's where y'all come in. So
when is this article possibly going to be coming out?
I don't.
I mean, by the end of the year, or you have no idea even?
I really have no idea. Okay. I know it sounds like he's going to make another run at FISM. And then if that's the case, then maybe we'd run it in July of next year.
Yeah. Which will be the month we're going to be having FISM.
That's why, right, that's what I mean. Like
Are you thinking about following him his whole journey? You going to go to Turin with us?
Can I expense that? Because that would be amazing if I can do that and like really sell that. Maybe it wouldn't be unheard of. But I have a suspicion that this is probably it.
Well, they should send you over there,
I agree.
And then you take a little bit of vacation time.
Totally
We're going to be spending, some of us who had gone to France earlier this year are going to be putting a wine tour together before and after FISM. So in case you're going, let us know. You might be able to join us for a day or two, one side or the other as well. I know you would enjoy that because this is really the North American Championships, which people are competing to be a representative from North America to go to Turin then next year. And
so excited to see it.
Yeah.
What time is that tomorrow?
I'm not certain.
Okay.
The subject, I'm sorry, the schedule has been subject to change frequently. Whatever's printed in the program, it's not right. In fact, I just received a text from Gabe Blackstone saying I'm supposed to be on at 3:30, and I'm now here, but now it says it's 11:30 in the morning, and my kids are coming in at 12:45 at the airport. They're going to miss me completely. It's like, well, I'm not in charge of the changes in schedule. I'm sorry. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
but
I just keep
checking
it, and it's exciting. I mean, there's just so much fun stuff going on.
Yep. And it's not just Texas magicians, as you've noticed. There are people from all over the world who are here.
Oh, absolutely. I met that very gregarious kid from Spain. I know. Yeah, they're definitely coming from all over. We just met Adrian Vega, just fresh off the plane from Spain.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he's going to be doing his show then this evening, actually. He's going to be doing two back-to-back. So he's just coming in, and he's going to be jumping right into the fire, it seems like. So, but, he's a real pro, obviously. So that'll be a good show. And then also, we're going to be having the Mind to Mind. Did you get your tickets for the Mind to Mind?
I did, but I couldn't. I didn't get them early enough for tonight, so I'm going to have to go tomorrow night, I guess.
Yeah.
Or maybe with my press pass, maybe I can linger in the back or something.
You can kind of hang out in the back. That's an advantage of being with press.
Just sort of like, you can just be the wallpaper. Yeah.
So is there anything that you're looking forward to? Not having any expectations necessarily, but now that you're here, is there something that you're looking forward to seeing?
Well, I'm really looking forward to the FISM shows. Those are open to the public, I assume?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that. Yeah.
And they're going to be over at think there's a University of Texas theater someplace near here.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be busing over to a legitimate theater.
Really?
Actually. Yeah.
Okay.
When I say legitimate theater, it's a theater that the college uses.
Oh, okay. Great.
It won't be in the hotel here, so it'll be great.
Okay. I'm
Proper
really looking
theater
forward
seats
to
and
that.
everything.
I'm really looking forward to
Good.
that. Otherwise, I'm kind of leaning on you for what I should be looking forward to, because a lot of the names are all kind of running together.
Yeah.
Like I said, drinking from a fire hose and trying to take as many notes as I can and record as much as I can, and everything is a lot. It's a lot.
Well,
and it's only one day. It's day one.
That's just day one, and we're not even finished here with this.
We're only about 6 hours into this.
And we've still got not only the evening we're doing here, but also then, again, the shows tonight. And I'm going to be going to the mind to mind kind of thing. Anyhow, a lot of stuff that's going to be going on, certainly. And we'll talk some more again as the week progresses as well. You'll be with me. I'll just turn around. I don't want to bump into you.
That's right. That's right. Back up,
really,
and there I am.
There you are. So with the Magic Word Podcast, that was Katie Vine. Scotty out. As we're getting ready to go to the, we're actually here already at the Western Party, and we're getting ready to have some nachos, and we're in line, and so while we're waiting, we're into a friend that Hal Meyer said I need to talk to, who is a cruise ship guy, and he said he knows it all, been there, done there, got all the best stories, and you really need to sit down for an hour and talk to this guy, but I've got about 10 minutes right now before we get to the front of this line over here. Greg, so tell me something.
Yeah.
It's good to meet you here, first
a
of all.
pleasure. Thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure
John's
to be
a pleasure
here.
to meet
Nice
you.
to meet
as well.
you, Scott.
Have you guys come to the TAOM before, or is this your first one?
No.
So what are you thinking so far? Did you just get here today, or what?
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. And the facility and just everything. Incredible. Yeah. Mike?
John?
Great property so far. Yeah, great service and nice rooms, nice space.
Were you here last night for the opening night?
No, we got in today.
Just got in today.
Yeah, just got in today.
I'm sure it's going to be. Well, look at this guy coming in on these stilts. Look at that guy.
That's Texas.
That's Texas. He's got some chaps.
That's at least 2 cows.
The guy is, what is that, 10-foot tall Texan?
That's great.
I believe they're called 10-gallon chaps.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I need to take a picture of that. But
You definitely have to get a document that.
You want to climb up on their shoulders?
Oh, well. That is amazing. I'm going to pause this for just a second here.
At the big
All right.
D.
Well, thank you for letting me break away. So, so you're from California, there, John, or where are you from?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, other coast, and you are in
Florida, Southwest Florida.
You're both on the East Coast then over here.
East
then.
Coast, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
East Coast.
why is it that you came to this convention if you haven't come before?
My first Magic convention was 50 years ago, and that was the 1974 SAM convention in Boston. So I thought it was time. I'm always working. To be honest with you, I haven't been to a national convention since 1981 because I'm always on summer runs. So I've cut back scheduling a little bit the past year, and my schedule lights up like fire in about another 2 weeks, and then I wouldn't be able to do this. But this was literally 2 days ago. John calls me and says, "Hey, we got to do this."
So it was your idea.
It was, because we're both always working, and wanted to catch up with Mark and other friends here, D'Souza.
And you're doing cruise ships too.
I'm doing theaters and corporate jobs now. I did the cruise ships for 12 to 15 years off and on, and then when the recession hit, I moved into the theater and corporate world.
Okay.
Changed gears a little bit, and kind of found a home there for now.
And other than COVID, I've been a cruise guy for 40 years.
Yeah.
So I'm a 38 to 42 weeks a year for 40 years.
Are you married? Have any children? Okay.
Yeah. My wife and I met on a ship.
Does she assist you?
Yeah. Well, she's retired now, but 25 years.
The reason I mention that is because I just recorded an entire episode with Fred and Bobby Becker.
Well, dear friends.
Of course they are.
And we grew up in the same area, Fred and I.
I bet you did. Is that right?
Fred started ships by reading The Cruise Ship Magician that I had published.
Oh, is that right?
I did a magic lecture, I forget when, 1980, my God, about 87, 88, called The Cruise Ship Magician. And I forget what convention it was. But I had the thing sold out then. It's a bit of a dinosaur now. It's a bit of a... But Tannins put it out for a little while for me. And after the first edition, I didn't publish any more after that, and that was the extent. But they're dear friends, dear friends.
Well, to bring it full circle, if I can interject, Fred would cover land dates when I was filling in for Craig and his wife. My wife and I would go out and cover cruise dates so they come over holidays, try to get our foot in the door. and Fred would cover dates for us back home. So
wow.
we're all it's like a big Pennsylvania deal.
Yeah. Because I grew up in Pennsylvania, Florida for 38 years, but I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, Central PA. So.
Well, when I was talking with Bobby, she was saying that she's like turning 50 and kind of getting to the same point of retiring, and Fred still wants to work, but she said, I just don't think that I should be on the stage, again.
Well, when my wife decided she wanted to retire gracefully and it was time to stop jumping in and out of boxes, we were shipping 27 cases of freight around the world.
There's Bobby right there.
Doing all that, and finally, when she retired, I just went into the fly-in act of doing a two-suitcase comedy show.
Yes.
Psychologically, a little bit of adjustment for me for a while. But I was lucky. I had that natural ability to begin with, so it was a good fit, And so now it's been 20 years solo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot more we can talk about, but we're at the front of the line, and we got to keep moving over here. People will be upset behind us.
That's right.
We've already let a couple people pass. Okay, thanks a lot, John. Thanks you, Craig. That's a good podcast. Scotty out. So we're still walking around. We just finished our nachos over here, and I happen to run into someone who is my editor-in-chief. It's Stan Allen. Hey, Chief, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Did you have some nachos?
I had some nachos. They were very good, and I'm having a Heineken.
And you're having a beer with it as well.
I am.
You see, that's what you need to have over here. I was going to have a martini, but martinis don't go with nachos.
Well, that's very true. Heineken at a magic convention. I didn't even know you could do that.
Well, this is an upscale hotel. We're at a very nice hotel. It just so happens at this convention that we're at the Lowe's Hotel, which is like first class, just started in February.
So I don't understand. Lowe's mean high?
And it means big. I think in Choctaw it means big because we've been walking like a half mile from one thing to another. I mean, this is a big old hotel. Of course, it's in Texas. We have to expect that.
Everything's bigger, right?
And just like this convention. Everything about this seems like it's bigger. We're expecting, I think, about 700 registrants here. So, I mean, it's not Magic Live, but we're having a great time. And I hope that you've enjoyed the food and the hospitality we've already had. And so,
it's a friendly convention. It's always fun to go to a convention thrown by somebody else.
Where you can really take a back seat. However, you're not taking a back seat because you're going to be a coordinator on a panel coming up Sunday.
Well, yes, but I only took that because you're on the panel, and then I get a chance to actually say, "Shut up, Scott." I'll be able to do. Won't I be able to do that?
You do that quite frequently.
That's a good idea.
That's right. You guys have heard it here before on many occasions, saying Scott talks way too much on the podcast.
We're going to make Scotty out have a whole different meaning.
We're going to take you out. Well, yeah, we're going to be talking about etiquette on the internet and magic exposure. So it's going to be they're hot topics, and we'll see how it turns out because we're going to be talking among ourselves. Who is else going to be the panel? You and me, and then Brian
South, and I think we have one more, a surprise person.
Okay, surprise person who's going to be then coming in as well. So I'm expecting that's going to be again a very controversial and fun topic, but you're going to be coordinating that and moving us in the positive direction. It's going to be great.
Wow, I want to be there for this then. This is sounding
You can hardly wait
good.
to see it yourself.
Yeah, I can't hardly wait for this.
One of the things we're doing, by the way, next year is going to be in Dallas, and so we're going to be having it near here, Arlington actually, at the Embassy Suite. So it's going to be a smaller hotel, a little bit lesser price, but we're going to be going back to something that you had initiated, and we're going to be having like the TAOM Times, which is like a newsletter, so we kind of put it underneath the door, and I said, this sounds vaguely familiar to I remember some of the early Magic Lives. Didn't you do, what was the name of the magazine or the daily thing?
I had Inside Magic.
Inside Magic, that was it.
A monthly newsletter.
Yeah.
And then when I go to a few, I don't know, about 4 or 5 conventions I went to, and we did a one-sheet, 2-sided daily newsletter. Mm-hmm. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, you could stop by our booth, and you could read all about yesterday. Mm-hmm. And then the crazy one is one year, the IBM and the SAM had their conventions over the exact same day.
Crazy.
So my associate editor at the time was John Mooring. So John Mooring went to San Diego for the IBM convention.
Yeah.
I went to New York for the SAM convention. We both pound Kinko's where we could email, fax stuff basically, back and forth because emails weren't too big a deal. But we could digitally get it. And so at the SAM convention, we had a report on what had happened at IBM the day before and vice versa.
How fresh is that?
That was crazy.
You're really on the cutting edge of that.
So then it was an 8-page newsletter, and then I simplified it by launching a 100-page magazine.
Which you've never regretted.
Regret's a funny word.
Well, it is your legacy. Speaking of which, I don't know whether that the magazine or the convention would be your legacy. I mean, you have pivoted from one to the other, and I like the idea. I don't know that everybody appreciates when you started with the convention that it was supposed to be, again, it's like Magic Magazine, except it's Magic Live from the standpoint that there is no schedule. You don't want people to know from day to day what's going to be happening. Just like when you turn a page of the magazine, what's happening? You don't know until you read the article. I love the surprises that you have every year.
Well, I think magic is about surprise.
Yeah.
That is what you surprise people. If we don't surprise them, chances are you're not going to entertain them or fool them.
You're not a magician then. You're a singer.
So it's surprise. So that's why we do it for surprise, because where do magicians go to get surprised? They come to Magic Live or to other conventions.
To Magic Texas.
Surprised. To Magic Texas. But the name Magic Live came from turning the pages of Magic Magazine, bringing them to life.
Yes.
So the very first convention was started with your name badge, picture on your name badge, because that's the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go inside, the first thing you see is an ad. Well, that's the dealer's room. All those advertisers are in the dealer's room.
Right.
And then the editors, we actually made a movie for Table of Contents, a little film, with, who was the guy from, the Champagne Dreams and...
Robin Leach.
Robin Leach did our thing for us.
You were the one to introduce me to him, and I did a podcast with him. Thank you.
And so the whole convention was a trip through the magazine. That was the idea. The last night party was finally.
Yeah.
And it made actually planning a convention quite easy.
Because you had the outline, you just had to fill in the pages.
Yeah, we just went to 150 magazines and just kind of looked through them and figured out what to put in. So that's the idea.
So you have 150 magazines, issues.
Then we had 301 when we stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what year was this convention? Because there were a couple of years you were doing every other year.
Well, the convention started for the 10th anniversary.
Okay.
So a year before the 10th anniversary, a little before that, really, I started looking at what other magazines did to celebrate their 10th anniversary. They did very little. Mm-hmm. Bill Larson had a paragraph. Now, he had an excuse. A little thing like World War II had ended.
Yeah.
So everybody was focusing on some other stuff.
Focus on something else.
Well, most magazines didn't, so I couldn't decide what we're going to celebrate. And it's kind of a crazy story. My friends, I was turning 50 in a year.
Yeah.
And my friends had all turned 50. A lot of them had. And they, gracefully, I'm not really sure I would say that's how they turned 50. Scratching, clawing, fighting, kicking. Okay, and I said, well, I don't want to do that. So I thought about it and said, I'm going to do something, and I won't start until my 50th birthday.
Okay.
And I waited till my 50th birthday, and I started, and Magic Live is the result. I started working on a convention.
That's pretty cool.
I've never done a convention.
So now you're 68.
I am 74.
74.
So,
young-looking 74.
Well, thank you, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, that's where it came to
So
be.
next year is the 25th anniversary.
Well,
Kinda,
years.
In years, but as far as the number, it's more like about 20?
It'd be 15.
15, okay.
Yeah, because remember, there was never going to be a second one.
I do remember that.
First time only, never to be repeated.
Well, it was also supposed to be another iteration of Magic Magazine, which was called...
Legacy.
Magic
Legacy.
Good idea.
I really wish we could have done it.
Yeah.
And I really do, because it was going to be 25 issues.
And
they were going to count down.
Yeah.
There was going to be no magician on the cover. Each cover was going to be art. The number was going to be worked into the art somehow.
Love the concept.
I called 73 named magicians in the world and asked them to contribute. 72 said yes, and only one didn't.
Wow.
And those yeses included Copperfield and Darren Brown and some other just major people.
What was the reason?
The support from the community.
You didn't have the...
No.
Because I remember you were taking
we just
subscriptions like at the Magic Live.
Right, we did. And we just didn't have the same support of the community.
That's too bad.
It wasn't something... We didn't sell it right, or the idea of magazines,
True.
Magazines were ending because they weren't efficient any longer. Everybody thinks magazines ended, people stopped reading, or... No, they didn't. They still have a passion, and they want that passion to be fed. And magazines fed that passion really well. And now, when the internet started to feed that passion just as well, if not better, 24/7, et cetera, that means our value to our customer changed. Doesn't mean we weren't doing a good job. It just meant it wasn't as important to our customers. And magic organizations like SAM and IBM and others have dwindled, partially because that value has shifted. That you don't get it totally from a club meeting and a magazine and a convention.
Right.
You can get it 24/7 now.
Yeah. Well, I remember years ago that you had said eventually there will be a consolidation of magazines. We have 4 major magazines, including the 2 journals, MUM and Linking Ring. You have Magic and Genie, and this probably going to consolidate at least to 2. And I thought that you were going to win out, and Genie was going to fold, and so it was just the opposite. It seems like that with Randy Pitchford giving it new life, that's got a different direction, of course, then. But the IBM and the SAM have got to certainly be thinking about the financials on their magazines.
Well, I think they're thinking about their financials on the magazine and their financials on their conventions and their financials on their club, in period.
Yeah.
Markets are changing. They always are.
What do you think the future of conventions are?
Well, I think that we'll see less of them.
I agree.
You know,
you don't think it'll proliferate with smaller conventions and maybe like regional groups or where they'll have specialty?
I think there'll always be that because magicians want to get together.
True.
And as long as they can be volunteers that are willing to throw it. Keep in mind, from what I understand, conventions started when magicians just wanted to get together and show off what they'd been working on all year.
Right.
When they were traveling around the country. And they weren't paid to do it. It was, they gathered. They just weren't magicians. We are the most communal type, community-based art there might be. And the reason, I think, is magicians are the only one that can truly appreciate someone's skill and art.
Yeah.
Because I can go to Lehman and I can do an invisible deck. And the next guy can go there and be dealing out of the center, their Doradio style. Yeah. And I'm not sure but the guy with that invisible deck, my God, he was great. Well, we know that's a fallacy in magic. Right. And that's why we come together, because we have these secrets that bond us, and we have this understanding of how good this person really is.
I don't know if there's any other, not just entertainers, but any other kind of group that has as many get-togethers or conventions as we do.
None.
I mean, you could name, I don't know, woodworking or singing or piano, whatever it is. I mean, they've got conventions and things, but we've got 1 or 2 a weekend all year long.
Right. I think it's just that magicians want to get together.
We're social animals, and that's why I think the social media has exploded among magicians, and that's why I think conventions are kind of imploding, because as younger people are finding alternate ways of socializing online, they're not necessarily wanting to come and
that's what I mean by the value to the convention is not as great, because the market has shifted, and those young people can get this passion fed other places. And so I guess IBM and SAM, and they probably are, I hope they are, looking to say, how do we deal with this going forward?
Right. It's a serious problem.
They're going to become irrelevant.
It's a financial issue also. I mean, it's not just a problem. I mean, it's something that they need to look at for sure.
And that's what's unusual, too, is because Magic Magazine was the only magazine not affiliated to anything else.
Correct. Independent magazine.
Genie was affiliated to the Castle.
Castle.
Okay, fine. But when Randy bought it and gave it new life, both our magazines were on the downward. And I just figured my goal was, this kind of sounds corny, but it started about 6 years before. Do we sell it? What do we do with this magazine? Yeah. And I decided we were referring to it as the surfboard to the shore. Ride it all the way to the shore, and at the right time, step off it. And that's why I closed it down rather than to sell it to anybody else. Nobody else was going to make it work any better.
True.
Unless it was a Randy Pitchford that was going to subsidize it. And the magazines we have today, Randy Pitchford subsidizing, thank you. Yeah. Genie Magazine, the SAM subsidizing MUM, IBM, the Magic Circle. Magazines they're not for profit. And conventions will continue as long as they can function not for profit. Magic Live is for profit.
Right.
It's not subsidized by anybody.
Again, like the magazine was an independent magazine, you're an independent convention.
I have a wife that asks me at the end, how did we do?
Yes.
So,
Well, I think this might have been a good topic for a conversation, on our panel discussion.
Save this. We'll publish this another day.
That's right.
All right, stand out.
Stand out.
That's it.
So with the Magic Word Podcast, that was Stan Allen, Scotty out. I know you love me saying that.
I love that stuff.
We're going to hear a little bit from David Copperfield, who is Skyping in with us, or Zooming in from Las Vegas.
So let's talk a little bit about how you do 15 shows a week. It always seems to be a sold-out crowd, so that's about 1,600 people a night. That's, not your typical birthday party magician, by the way. Doing pretty good there, I think, bud.
I do really good balloon animals.
You have a career that has spanned 40-something years, right? With television specials that have been awarded 21 Emmys. You've earned 11 Guinness World Records. You have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You were knighted by the French government. The U.S. Library of Congress named you a living legend. And most importantly, the former mayor of Wiley, Texas, granted you honorary citizenship.
The best.
As the 50,000th citizen of Wiley, Texas. So with all that, David, here comes the question. I mean, the proclamation naming you the citizen was the icing on the cake, I'm sure. But what's next? And would it have anything to do with the moon?
Yeah. Working on it, it's really exciting. We've been testing it a lot. It's gotten bigger and bigger. We're using giant telescopes. We're working with amazing scientists. And it's almost ready to be shown. Maybe it'll be this year, maybe it'll be next year. There's a thing called an election that's kind of taken a lot of the attention. Heard about this election thing?
Yeah, I heard there's an election. Yeah.
So we're probably going to let the dust settle there, and then we'll look up to the sky and something hopefully miraculous will take place.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. One thing about you, David, is you're always looking forward. You're always looking to what are you going to do next. And your show continues to grow and to change, which is impressive. I've only seen it about 20 or 30 times, and I keep coming back. It's a great show. And so with that, you're busy doing the show all the time. I mean, think about it. You're always working. But what do you do for fun? And what are you reading right now?
Nothing in particular. I mean, consumed with this election thing. Consumed with it. It's amazing, the ups and downs of it is really fascinating. Last night, Jeff McBride, me, and Jason Ace came here and we kind of decoded one of Jack Codell's rigid rope things. And we looked at the props and whoa, that's how it works. We didn't know. So I got to call Mary Naylor to confirm. But amazing, we're finding stuff that's just really, really great. And, you discover how things are done in technology, and then you share it with your friends. And you go, really? I had no idea that would work. So we're having fun. And that's fun. Seeing movies are fun. Developing new things for the island. I got a bunch of islands in the Bahamas. We're developing a bunch of stuff for that. With more dinosaurs and, crazy technology. So it's something to look forward to.
So if you could sum it up in just a couple of words, who is David Copperfield? Not to put you on the spot or anything, but...
No. I think it's a guy that's still trying to get it right.
A guy that's still trying to get it right. What an attitude to have. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, David Copperfield.